NFL Daily is made possible by our good friends Panda Sups. Go to pandasups.com and use code CHAT to get 30% off and free shipping if you're trying to get maybe back into better shape. Or, hey, if you need some pre-workout BCAAs, we got you covered. All right, we're going to get in now to the latest news and rumors, and we're kicking the show off with Everson Griffen, and we're getting some news, and it's getting me hyped here. Could he potentially be going to the Green Bay Packers?
This is interesting to me because I'm not sure I truly believe it. This might end up being a very hot take in a matter of just a couple of hours, quite frankly, or a freezing cold take.
Fair.
This screams Griffin's camp leaked this to get a different NFC North team to bring him in.
Or to get the Vikings to bring him back.
NFC North team to bring him in.
Okay.
So either the Vikings or the Detroit Lions. Zimmer said that there's some interest in bringing back Griffen. There's a need for both Detroit and for Minnesota.
Yep.
You want to apply some pressure here before camp. Why don't you leak that the Packers have interest and there's some mutual interest there? It's a fun idea because now all of a sudden the Packers pass rush consists mostly of the two Smiths, Preston and the always underrated Za'Darius.
Yep.
Then they got Rashawn Gary, who, different conversation. And then now you got Everson Griffen in there too. And Kenny Clark's a great defensive lineman too. I don't know if it makes the most sense for Griffen because I don't think he's going to play 3-4 defensive end. That's going to think he has to be a stand-up or at least on-the-hand edge guy as an outside linebacker in that scheme. So the fit's a little weird. The playing time's a little weird. That's why I suspect, although it'll be fun for Green Bay, I suspect this might be a little bit of a leverage play to get a different NFC North team involved.
I'm all about leverage time. So I'm going to make this the pinned comment here on today's video. Those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you might get with an ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down and I want you to comment where you think Everson Griffen, one of the top free agents, is going to sign this upcoming year. Let's continue the show here with another top free agent. It's Jadeveon Clowney. And before we tell you which two teams are really trying to drag him in, and now it might be three now, where will Jadeveon Clowney sign? I want you to scroll on down and let us know. Where do you think Clowney is going to end up playing? I see some Vikings, some Texans. Is anybody guessing the Saints? Well, maybe you should be. At least Michael Thomas, he's doing his part in trying to recruit the top free agent to come to New Orleans.
Yeah, if you believe the report that came out a couple of weeks ago that the Saints were on Clowney's list,
well, he wanted to win.
It's not a Thomas recruitment thing that's needed. It's a, hey, the Saints have spent all of this money. Clowney still wants like 11 or 10 or 13 or 14, depending on which day of the week it is. He wants that $1 million per year. And the Saints, well, they got about a little under 9.
Yeah.
And also they got to kind of save some because they got some free agents coming up in the near future. So it's possible, yes. And it'd be a fun addition for New Orleans, another all-in move they've done repeatedly here. You put Cam Jordan, Clowney, and maybe you keep Davenport out there on pass rushing downs, and you go Clowney on the interior or Jordan on the interior with Sheldon Rankins. That's awesome. But money-wise, it's a little tricky to actually pull off.
So then that's not the only team, though. Jamal Adams is already putting that work in Seattle. He's also trying to get Clowney to rejoin Seattle. And we've done a lot of shows around Clowney, and you and I have kind of said him going back to Seattle does make the most sense. But as soon as that Jamal Adams trade happened, I saw everywhere, it can't happen. It's not really true.
No, in fact, it's the opposite. With the addition of Bradley McDougald in that trade, the Seahawks actually freed up more cap space by about $4 million, so they can bring back Clowney if they want to. Now, I think their offer, whatever it is right now, would be less than what they offered at the beginning of free agency.
As it should be.
But they still have a need. L.J. Collier probably going to play some interior defensive linemen this year. But Bruce Irvin, Darrell Taylor, Rasheem Green, it doesn't really move the needle in the way you want to. So as teams become eliminated because they just don't have the money or don't want to spend the money, Seattle makes more and more sense the longer we go along in this process.
And then, there's another team here, the New York Jets. So Bradley McDougald basically told...
The newest Jet.
Yes, the newest Jet. Apparently said that Clowney told me to tell the Jets to sign him. The reason why this is kind of interesting is because Clowney for a long time said, I want to play for a winner.
He didn't want to play for the Browns because
he didn't want to play for the Dolphins last year.
And even this offseason, too, the Dolphins had interest. He said no. Jets now have interest. So I don't think Clowney knows what he wants. And I think he's once again trying to get a team in.
He just wants to get paid.
He's trying to use the Jets, I think, as leverage. Because he was using the Browns as leverage to get more from Seattle, and it didn't work out for him. So now the Jets, they could use Clowney. It actually makes a lot of sense if maybe Clowney is willing to ignore the contender part and take the 1-year deal and get himself some more playing time and be the team's best pass rusher, I'd argue, by a significant margin.
So we're talking about Clowney, and as much as I wanted to put the Jets on here, we're just trying to be a little bit realistic. So who's going to have more wins this upcoming season? The Seattle Seahawks, type SEA. I think it's going to be the New Orleans Saints. I want you to scroll on down and type no. So I am seeing some no's flown in here from Ryder Pratt. Ray Long's throwing his no in there, and now getting some Seattle's as well. But hey, both of these teams are going to be very, very solid, and both teams are going to create a lot of excitement. So maybe you're like me, maybe quarantine kicked your butt a little bit and you need to get back into shape. For me, when I leave work, I need to get refocused, and Panda Sups here with their pre-workout is going to help you do that. And the reason why the Natural Fierce pre-workout is really, really popular, no artificial flavoring, no artificial sweeteners. It's a lot better for your body. So it was $54.99. It is now $38.50 when you use promo code CHAT at pandasups.com. 30% off, and you get free shipping. It's going to give you that extra focus, extra energy. Also, it also works if you're a coffee drinker.
Does it help make up for when you skip leg day? Yeah, because you always do.
It does. But no, seriously, like it puts extra blood flow where you need it. You know what I'm saying? Puts extra blood flow where you need it to get bigger results because, come on, you're working out to get bigger. Panda Subs is going to help you do that. Code CHAT, 30% off. So shout out to Panda Subs. All right, we'll keep the show moving here. Raheem Mostert, we did get some news around him. Before he requested a trade, we actually thought that the 49ers should call his bluff, and instead, he did get paid, so shout out to Raheem.
Kind of got paid. There was a little bit of a signing bonus given to Mostert here. There's some added incentives as well.
The incentives are good.
This is a pretty fair outcome, I think, for all parties involved. Mostert simply didn't have a ton of leverage because, well, he's an older running back. He's still under contract. The Niners have other options. Now, clearly this offense runs better with Mostert in the backfield than some of the other options out there. So there's reason there for the Niners to pick a little bit extra money his way. That's what ended up happening. Feels like a bit of a win-win for all parties involved. It kind of got ugly there with that trade request, but in the end it worked. Mostert got a little bit more money. The Niners get him for camp. That's what you're hoping for, right?
I think that was the important thing here because when the report first came out, we have a lot of 49ers fans that watch the show, and they were kind of bitter about it. And I think also the 49ers had to be a little bit bitter about it. Mostert wasn't happy. So now you have a team that went to the Super Bowl last year. It seems like everyone's happy here. And if Mostert plays well, he's going to be able to make the money almost double amount.
Everyone's going to forget about it.
So it's all
everyone's going to be happy, right?
Everyone's going to be happy. It's all going to be good. If you're a 49ers fan, check out our channel, youtube.com/49erstv. All right, Tom, I saw this debate, and I wanted to bring it on our show because I thought it was at least interesting. So, most likely to win another Super Bowl. So out of the 4 quarterbacks that you see on screen, who is the most likely to win another Super Bowl? If you think it's Tom Brady, I want you to type TB. If you think it's Aaron Rodgers, type AR. Drew Brees, type DB. Or Ben Roethlisberger, give me a BR. Where are you going?
I'm going to go Drew Brees.
Okay.
I have the most confidence in his team. To break down each of these guys, I'm not sure Brady has it left anymore, which it's fine. I think they're going to be a playoff team, but he's in that discussion. Aaron Rodgers, I think, has a decent chance too.
Yep.
I do have a caveat on Rodgers. Can I know what team he's going to play for 2 or 3 years from now? Like he might go Manning and go to a good team,
which
I feel great about. But I think with what I know right now, Brees makes the most sense to me.
I'm also going to go with Drew Brees. I think the team's the best around him. I'm not going to go Brady. I could see maybe Aaron Rodgers, but Big Ben, now I'm going to be typing my DB. You're watching NFL Daily here, and we have some rumors around star running back Dalvin Cook, and could he be opting out? So Pro Football Talks Mike Florio basically says Dalvin Cook could be an opt-out candidate. Well, he's stretching the truth. He's kind of connecting some dots here.
He tore all of his hamstrings stretching on this one. Look, the rationale behind it is that the opt-out would allow Cook to not have to hold out for a contract, not be fined. But it doesn't actually make sense from a long-term perspective because he opts out and then his contract tolls. So next year, when he can't opt out in theory, right back where they started, except now he hasn't played football in a season. Why are the Vikings going to pay him then? So use it as a threat. Sure, I guess you can do that. I would be stunned if Cook opted out.
I mean, this is also
It just doesn't make sense.
It's also
long-term.
piggybacking off of Eric Sugarman, who's the Vikings head trainer. He tested, positive here for COVID, and well, he wasn't the only person that wears, I guess, Vikings logos, if you will. Justin Jefferson, Blake Brattle, Brian Cole, and then Tyler Higbee. They have also all tested positive for COVID-19.
Quick note here, by the way. These are the 4 players the Vikings announced not that long ago that they've all tested positive. They did not have any contact, any interaction, or overlap with the Vikings head trainer who was diagnosed with COVID-19. So not ideal for these parties, and I do want to make one other note here as well. The COVID-19 list, once they're cleared, once they're healthy, they're able to come back and get practicing and everything. So you'll see those guys eventually show up at training camp for Minnesota. It also doesn't mean necessarily that they've tested positive. If they had close contact with someone while they wait for the test, they might be waiting. But these were all first-year players who have been tested. So kind of read between the lines on that.
Well, if they're unable to practice because maybe they're not fully healthy, or maybe you're recovering from something like COVID, that could actually lead to hydration, could also lead to injuries. For all you athletes out there, for people that are trying to get into better shape, if you take BCAAs after you work out, it helps with muscles. It helps with your joints. It helps you get back into better shape. And with our deal, thanks to Panda Supps, you can save 30%. So look at that, $24.50 by going to pandasups.com. Using code CHAT, you're going to be able to get 30% off. It's in the comments. It's in the description. The flavor that you see right now on screen is peach gummy bear, and I'm telling you right now, it's absolutely fire. All right, Tom, Adams trade details here. We're asking a lot of questions, and I want to know from y'all. Who won this trade? Type N for the New York Jets, or I want you to type S for the Seattle Seahawks. I think both sides are a winner. If Seattle can go on to win the NFC West, if they can be Super Bowl contenders, I think you can make the argument that they won this trade. But then the Jets can also say, hey, we're getting a lot of picks, and hopefully, some of those picks pan out.
I think it makes some sense for all parties involved, right? Seattle going all in on winning right now, trying to win with Wilson at the helm, trying to be actively involved in making their team as best as humanly possible. The Jets know they're probably rebuilding. Getting 2 first-round picks for a safety, as good as Jamal Adams is, that's about as good a haul that they could have been possibly hoping for. So I like that move for both parties. If I have to pick one, though, Mitch, I'm going to go with the New York Jets.
Let's dive into the latest news and rumors around the Seattle Seahawks. And for you Seahawks fans out there, make sure you subscribe to our Seahawks-only channel. You see the link below, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. So there was a report, obviously, that DeAndre Baker was just put on the commissioner's exempt list. And then a few minutes later, Ian Rappaport basically quote tweeted what you see on screen. Quinton Dunbar now also on the commissioner's exempt list. And for Seahawks fans, this does have to suck a little bit. You traded for him back in May, at the end of May, and you don't really know now if he is, and personally, ever going to play again.
Yeah, it's concerning for Seattle. It maybe not the biggest surprise in the world that he's been placed on that exempt list, stemming from those felony robbery charges, and then there's been a whole bunch of other stuff behind the scenes where the lawyer's been accused of orchestrating a payoff from the victims. It's been
bad.
Been a mess. So
it's been bad.
Now Dunbar's kind of out of the way right now. He's not going to be involved in Seahawks training camp, which means Trey Flowers likely returns as the number 2 corner for Seattle. Hasn't been great for Seattle. That's why they traded for Quinton Dunbar in the first place. So what I am curious now is if Seattle approaches this as, hey, we're not going to have Dunbar. We should go sign somebody in free agency. We should go, trade for somebody else, or maybe they could move Quandre Diggs or Marquise Blair to nickel corner to help out that depth as well.
So will Quinton Dunbar play this season? So what I want you all to do right now is scroll on down and let us know in the comments section. You can give us a Y for yes, or you can type your N for no. Will Quinton Dunbar end up playing this year for the Seattle Seahawks? All right, we'll keep the show moving here, Tom. Maurice CANADY. He's going to opt out. Tell me the latest around him.
This is the first Cowboys player who has opted out. Just as a brief overview here, the NFL has allowed voluntary opt-outs for NFL players this year. This is not a high-risk opt-out, meaning there's some underlying condition that would result in a bigger salary advance or stipend or whatever. CANADY is a voluntary opt-out. So what this means is that cheap one-year deal he signed in free agency not going to count against the Cowboys cap this year. So cap space-wise, guys, the Cowboys going to save about $1 million or so.
Pretty good.
The contract will toll as well, which means next year,
Okay.
that cheap contract he signed, CANADY is once again under contract with the Cowboys. So he's not going to be a factor this year. I wasn't convinced he was going to make the roster. I had those first 8 names you saw there on the depth chart. I had them all above CANADY.
Okay.
I thought he was going to fight for more of a special teams, maybe depth role. I don't think he had practice squad. I don't think he has any eligibility left. So I didn't think he was going to make the roster. But this is the first opt-out. It does leave the Cowboys a little bit thinner if there are, more positive tests or injuries, but he's not going to be a member of the Cowboys this year.
That wasn't the only news here around the Dallas Cowboys, and if you're not already subscribed to our Cowboys channel, please go ahead and do it. Tom's the absolute best. Give him a follow as well on Twitter, @WhatGoingDowny. John V. Johnson on the COVID list.
First Cowboys player placed on that COVID-19 list again here, kind of as a reminder. He will be able to return once he's cleared and once he's healthy. So it should be a more short-term thing. It is significant for Johnson, though, who was hurt last year, placed on IR, was a training camp darling and preseason darling, and then kind of had drop issues during the games, and I thought was more or less an IR stash. He was going to fight for a roster spot this year. He's going to miss out on at least some time that was already limited, so that might negatively impact him. Maybe he's another practice squad candidate. We'll see how quickly he comes back. But that is a notable news update there for the Cowboys.
So obviously with everything that's crazy going on right now in the world, we have this question, will the 2020 NFL season happen? Type 1 for yes, type 0 for no. I'm going to continue to type 1 until I see something otherwise. Part of it's hope, part of it's just for my mental health. I think everyone watching right now wants to be able to see some NFL football. 1 for yes, or give me a 0 for no.